The following program is a documentary that is based on the book by Gonçalo Amaral, the former PJ inspector who investigated the disappearance of Madeleine McCann in the Algarve. His version of the events is repudiated by Maddie's parents, who continue to defend that this is an abduction case. The criminal process that was conducted by the Portuguese authorities ended with the archiving of the inquiry, a decision that was contested by Gonçalo Amaral. More than pointing out culprits, a task that belongs to justice, the broadcast of this documentary is destined to contribute for light to be shed on a case that remains an unsolved mystery for almost 2 years, and that elements are given to help the public opinion to understand it. My name is Gonçalo Amaral. I've been an investigator with the Polícia Judiciária for 27 years. I coordinated the investigation into the disappearance of Madeleine McCann on the 3rd of May 2007. During the following 50 minutes, I will prove that the child was not abducted and that she died in the holiday apartment in Praia da Luz. Discover the whole truth about what happened that day, a death that many people want to cover up.
We would like to say a few words to the person who is with Madeleine or has been with Madeleine. Madeleine is a beautiful, bright, funny and caring little girl. She is so special. Please, please do not hurt her. Please don't scare her. Please tell us where to find her, or put her in a place of safety and let somebody know where she is. We beg you to let Madeleine come home. We need our Madeleine. Sean and Emily need Madeleine, and Madeleine needs us. Please give our little girl back. Por favor, devolva a nossa menina.
On the 3rd of May 2007, a child that was sleeping with her siblings was abducted. This is the version of the crime that we got used to accepting as the only possible one. But is it the true one? Or does this version hide a crime that many want to conceal? There is a kind of need to stifle the case, to silence the case. I remember that several people were affected. English policemen are forbidden from speaking out. Other witnesses, like Martin Smith, are somewhat afraid, and several persons. This is a case where some people are still afraid, or they are even prevented from speaking. What we are preparing has never been done before. We took the former PJ coordinator, Gonçalo Amaral, to the crime scene to show what happened to Madeleine McCann. This reconstitution is going to allow us to understand who told the truth and who didn't. We are going to find out what happened on that night that Maddie disappeared forever. Strangely, the judicial investigation was never able to carry out the reconstitution of what happened. The reconstitution wasn't carried out because there were some who defended that would be equal to considering the family to be suspects, as well as the risk of flight. Since the beginning, the Polícia Judiciária was pressured not to investigate this case like any other case. There was media exposure, a political and diplomatic climate that made the investigation much more difficult. Madeleine McCann was only days away from her 4th birthday when she disappeared. The last time that she was seen in public was at 5:30 p.m. on the 3rd of May 2007. Her mother, Kate McCann, picked her up at the crash. The exit records shows the time. At the same time, the father, Gerald McCann, played the tennis only a few hundreds of meters away. The tennis court timesheet and his statement to the police confirm that Gerald only left at 7 p.m. On the same afternoon, the family's friends had tea at the Paraíso restaurant. The CCTV camera images prove that the man left the restaurant at 6:13 and the women left 15 minutes later. One of them, David Payne, met up with Gerald McCann at the tennis court. According to Payne's statement to the Polícia Judiciária, he asked him where Kate was and then headed for the apartment that had been rented by the McCann family, where he arrived at around 6:30 p.m. In later questionings, the testimonies diverged. Gerald McCann says that David Payne stayed at McCann's apartment for 30 minutes. His wife, Kate, guarantees it was only 30 seconds. At that time, Kate was bathing the twins and Madeleine. It was shortly after 8:40 p.m. that the English nine friends went for dinner at the Tapas Bar. The restaurant is approximately 50 meters away as the crow flies from the apartments where 8 children remained alone. In apartment 5A, Madeleine McCann and the twins, Amélie and Sean, were sleeping. At around 10 p.m., Kate McCann, Maddie's mother, raised the alarm. Maddie was not in the room. At around 10:40 p.m., the GNR in Lagos received a phone call saying that a little girl had disappeared from the Ocean Club in Praia da Luz. According to the testimony of the Ocean Club's manager, when the GNR patrol arrived on location, the child's father threw himself at the officer's feet like a praying Arab, completely out of control over his daughter's disappearance. The same scene was repeated, according to the officers, in the couple's bedroom. It was past midnight when the GNR warned the Polícia Judiciária. I was immediately informed and took the appropriate measures. Searches were carried out in the region. The Spanish authorities were warned and the borders were controlled. The largest search operation ever to be carried out in Portugal was organized. During several days, hundreds of officers from the GNR, firemen, volunteers and members of the Polícia Judiciária thoroughly searched over 200 square kilometers. A gigantic search operation. No search in Portugal had ever included such means and so many people. Everything is checked and checked again. The borders were watched, all sorts of vehicles are searched. The effort does not succeed. The child doesn't appear. Until we have evidence that in fact the worst may have happened to her, we continue to think that she may be alive. As you know, under the Portuguese juridical order, it is not only abduction that gives a ransom. If someone takes a person for a sexual act, that is also an abduction. It is on that basis that we are hopeful.